mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. Don't let my heart turn cold. Have mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. Don't let my heart turn cold. Have mercy on many men. Many men wish death upon me. Yeah, I don't cry no more. I don't look to the sky no more. Cause I got it on me. I got it on me. I got it on me. You could run up if you want. Mercy on me.
What's going on, internet? Analytic here, aka Dreams, and I would like to welcome you to mine, which I call the Notorious Mass Effect Podcast. I'm your hip-hop / gaming news source with a little bit of pop culture mixed in. For episode 5, we're going to be getting into sports versus COVID-19, Pop Smoke's new album, with a little bit of Pusha T Drake beef. Then we're going to get into Mixer converting to Facebook gaming, and finally, TikTok. But before that, make sure to click my link tree in my bio to access my social medias and follow to keep up with my latest activities. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button on my YouTube and share this podcast, as this helps the show reach more people so we can grow together and affect the masses. Now, switching it up a little bit, we're going to be getting into the quote of the pod, and from my previous four podcasts, I don't even think I used the word for quote of the pod. Well, I mean, if it's a quote, it doesn't have to be a word. But for this podcast, for this podcast and future podcasts, I'm gonna start saying the quote or the word I want to be the main focus throughout the topic of this. And for this certain topic, is the word for me for the quote of the pod is going to be safety. And that's because we're going to get into sports versus COVID-19. So you could probably already tell how safety correlates with what I'm about to talk about. And that's because sports versus COVID-19 has been a real fight. I mean, that's been one of the biggest fights going on right now, whether to have sports, whether to not have sports. And it's just been a ongoing debate by certain experts in the game and experts in the medical field. And they've just been going back and forth. You know, it's funny how some sports experts all of a sudden become doctors and with imaginary PhDs, because like they will start saying, well, the people I talk to say, like, if we use this certain precaution and we keep these athletes at a certain distance from the fans, like they be saying all this crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, it really like comes down to how many people are they willing to sacrifice in order to have a sports season. And for many, I think that's kind of an uncomfortable conversation. I don't think many sports shows even talk about that at all, because somebody has to be sacrificed. I mean, I haven't seen one plan yet, even the NBA bubble, I haven't seen one plan yet where it says this will 100% cut out COVID-19. Like 100% nobody will get it. Like none of the plans I've seen says that. They all have this hopeful plan of trying to finish, and that's because that COVID-19 is like still a huge deal in our society. And that's why certain events that are going on right now, like I just finished watching the main event for UFC, and no fans being in the arena for the Octagon. I guess they call it like Fight Island or whatever, but like no fans being there is just so weird to see. It's just like, it's basically like if you're an athlete, it's basically like practicing, but you're practicing against the person you gotta beat, and it's like it goes to your record, you know? Like it's a practice atmosphere, but you have to hype yourself up as if it was a game, or because it is a game. But I don't know if y'all got that reference, but anyways, one of the biggest reasons I'm bringing this up for this podcast, because it's been going on for so long, is that because college football has been taking the many steps to trying to complete the season, and that's because of them being on the forefront of this thing, because they have to start soon. And when I mean soon, I mean like they don't have too much time to waste on getting a plan together, because I think they're one of the first major sports up. For me, it always goes college football, NFL, NCAA basketball, the NBA. And for other people, I mean, you know, you probably watch other sports, but for me, that's all the championships that matter to me, and like that goes on throughout the year. So anyways, the Big Ten moved to conference only schedule, and that's because that they're saying that we may not have sports in the fall, so it's making a lot of people change up their schedules. Like I think the Pac-12 did the same thing, and this will be huge because not a lot of non-conference opponents will be able to get that check that they get for playing big teams like that. And so that's a big blow to non-conference teams that may not be as notable with as much with not as much they don't have a lot of eyes on them like Big Ten conferences do. So this announcement was made, I don't know when this announcement was made, but it was made pretty soon, like I think last week, or I'm making this podcast on July 12th, so it was sometime throughout this week. And we are facing, okay, so the Big Ten put out a statement basically talking about how they're facing COVID-19, how they're trying to combat it with certain quote unquote game plans, not to make a pun, but they're basically making game plans to combat COVID-19 and try to get around it. But for the most part, they haven't got down to non-conference games yet, so that's why they switched it to conference only schedule, because they haven't figured out how to play non-conference games and make it in a way that it won't explode into something bigger, because that's what none of the sports that start up want to have. What I think, like, one of the sports is going to happen, but none of the sports want to be the first one to start their plan and it completely backfires. Like tests, like positive test after positive test. No sport wants that, so they're all taking the necessary precautions to make sure that this goes smoothly. So that's why you see conference games like this being like one of the main solutions, because the Ivy Leagues, they just stopped play altogether. They said we're not having fall sports. So you see where they're at, and they was the first ones to shut down before the major sports program shut down for when COVID first came up. So that should tell you something. But yeah, so that's the main thing with college football that I wanted to get into. I mean, basically what I touched on with the Ivy League ruling out play is that because they said that the COVID-19, they've like contacted their doctors and they haven't been notarized or haven't been contacted on to change what they've been doing, which is quarantining and social distancing and stuff like that. So they've been saying, like, they talked to their doctors and they're saying that we should even have a season, and so we're not. And it's just kind of like a he say, she say when it comes to who's right and who's not. As far as like what I think that football is the last sport that should be trying to combat the COVID-19. Like, I could see a sport like the UFC or tennis or baseball trying to, because those are not non-contact sports, but UFC's one-on-one. Tennis is you have a whole, like, you're basically social distance in the rules. It's basically in the rules unless you play like doubles, I guess. And then baseball, I mean, you're spread out on the huge field. So I mean, contact sports like NBA, NFL, team contact sports, not just contact sports, because that takes UFC out, but team contact sports will have a harder time with this than non-contact or predominantly non-contact sports, because when you touch somebody, like if you're sweating all over him, like trying to post him up, and you find out he has COVID, well, he touched you, you touched your teammate. You see where I'm going with it. So that's a huge thing with the Ivy League shutting down, because they was the first ones to shut down when COVID first came up. And that was all I really had for the for college football. And just getting into the events as a whole, because I believe that these events are actually, let's give it, I don't know if it's premature, but let's give a cheers to Ivy League for making the hard decisions, because I believe that making that decision was not easy at all. Because if you've seen the number on how much ticket sales bring in the NCAA football season in arenas, like artists always talk about selling out arenas all the time because it's a huge deal. Some football teams do that on the daily, so, or not the daily, but like every game, you get what I'm saying? So to cancel the whole season is a huge decision that just shows you how big COVID is, because they will not stop money for anything. Like, companies love to make money. Like, they would rather have the employees die before they stop the production line, you know, or before they stop making money. So getting into the other sports, because not a lot of sports are following in the Ivy League's footsteps. Because for the NFL, I mean, the players have got together saying that they voted scrapping the preseason games. So whatever that's going to do for the NFL, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Some people need those preseason games, like the people trying to make a roster. But not even, like, that's a minute point. But for the bigger picture, people trying to make an NFL roster, you can't make an NFL roster if there's no preseason games and you're borderline making the team. Like, you're just going to get cut. But as far as the bigger picture, the NFL, I don't think will end up even going past week 3. And I mean, if it does, kudos to them. But with the NFL being so huge, even without the fans, you're going to have at least 100 to, well, I don't know how many people, but basically you have the football team, which is a lot of players, a lot of coaches for each specific position. Then you have the people working the cameras, the people working the chains, the people working the broadcast. Like, it's a lot for the NFL. So I don't see them completing their season. NBA, they announced that they're going to do the bubble at Walt Disney World Resort. They're actually there right now, getting ready to start playing. And the NBA gives me a little bit of hope, just because I've seen the basketball tournament, which we're going to get into in after this. And they're going on right now, and they're kind of like the same format. And if they can get their tournament going with no hiccups or anything, I think one team had to cancel. I don't know why, but maybe due to COVID. I don't want to misspeak though, because it just said cancel. I didn't get a reason for it, but they're basically, well, they are a basketball isolated from the world. So that, if that's working, I have hope for the NBA bubble being completed, and we will be able to see an NBA champion be crowned. For MLB, MLB's been going through it. The players been going at the owners, or I don't know if it's the owners or it's the higher ups, basically the players versus the higher ups. And they just said no spring or summer camp. I think they said no spring or summer camp. I'm not sure, but they cut out something before the season, and I think they're cutting down the main season to like 60-something games or 80-something games. I'm not sure, but I know MLB players, they play like 3,000 games, don't they? MLB players got to play like every single game. It seems like every dollar they make is a game they have to play. I mean, they play a humongous amount of games. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Anyways. So they're doing that. They're shortening the season. Most of these pro sports are just shortening the season. Soccer, I don't know what soccer's doing. Like, I think they're playing right now. I think they're playing without the COVID-19. Like, somehow they're isolating it. I mean, I think soccer's more overseas, ain't it? If I'm not mistaken, I think soccer's more of an overseas sport than an American, like, because NFL is an American based sport, like the teams. Soccer, I think, is more international, if I had to guess. So not if I had to guess, I know it's more international because of people like Messi making like so much money. Like people like the people look at LeBron, but if you look at the top paid soccer athlete, the type of money those people make will make you want to change sports like immediately. Like, why was I training in this sport for so long when people make this much money in this? But soccer, you got to run a lot, so that ain't for me. Anyways, the NCAA, the Big Ten. Oh, we already talked about them. We just went on a. Yeah, we definitely went through them. NHL. Y'all watch the NHL? Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I remember the Toronto Raptors was going against the Golden State Warriors, and they was about to win the thing, win the NBA title, and they was talking about hockey. I was like, imagine the American team. Well, I guess it's different in different countries, or not guess, it is different in different countries, but man, your basketball team is about to win the NBA title and you're still talking about hockey? Like, that's some respect. That's why Kawhi left. But anyways, getting into the PGA postponed the Ryder Cup and the President Cup. I don't know what that is, but I do like watching golf from time to time. It's a very relaxing sport to watch, not to play. I tried to play one time, ended up missing the ball like 3 or 4 times, just a little starting when you like start it off. Yeah, that's not for me. I had to get a coach or something. The Olympics, everybody know that the Olympics was postponed to July 23rd, 2021. So hopefully they keep that up. I'm pretty sure they will. I mean, 2021 is a ways away, and especially July 23rd. So hopefully we can see that happen, because I know LeBron and them are definitely gonna want to play together. LeBron, Steph, and all them definitely want to see how that team's gonna come together. I mean, imagine LeBron and I don't even think Giannis could be on that team. No, Giannis would probably play for what's the team? Greece? I want to say Greece. That's probably the wrong team. Anyways, Giannis won't be on the team, but I don't even know if we ever see LeBron and Giannis be on the same team. Giannis really take that competitiveness to another level. Anyways, cycling, the Tour de France has been postponed. I would think cycling would be one of those that you could do, but like, because you're like moving most of the time, like you're not right, like you're right next to each other sometimes, but like, I don't know, I guess not. Whatever. Tennis. I don't really watch. Do y'all watch tennis? Tennis is an underrated sport. Like, it's hard to play. Horse racing. Yeah, we're done with the list. We're done with the list. Yeah, so basically the sports are having trouble trying to start their season with COVID, or not start, but just have a plan to not make it look like they just didn't try at all. Like, because the last thing you want is for the fans to look at you and say that you didn't even try to make a plan for your athletes to be safe. Like, you don't even care about your athletes. Because to be honest, most of these owners of the pro teams don't really care about their players. It's just about the bottom line, which, I mean, they are business. They are running multi-million-dollar businesses. So, yeah, but the basketball tournament, which I was referring to when I was talking about the NBA, is going on right now. They're in the semifinals. I think like July 12th. I think the semifinals are, if I'm not mistaken, I think the semifinals are, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, I think it's today. I want to say it's today because I know that Joe Johnson and Overseas Elite played like yesterday, July. I keep saying yesterday, like y'all gonna watch this at the time like exactly the time I put it out. But yeah, they played like July 11th, and they play again at July 12th, so they're playing a back-to-back. That's kind of crazy. But now if you think about the NBA is about to start up, so they're probably trying to wrap this up so they can get their shine and not get outshined by the NBA start. So if you want to watch that, they play at July 12th. If you listen to this, it's today at 4 and today at 6. And if you don't listen to this today, well, and listen to this on another day, well, you missed it. You missed it. Yeah, so the TBT makes me have hope that the NBA is definitely going to get into the groove with the season and not have too many hiccups, because I haven't seen too many hiccups for the basketball tournament. So that's all I have for the sports versus COVID-19. Let me know down in the comment section down below what you think about sports versus COVID-19, and do you think they should postpone the NCAA football season? And also send me a voice message on Anchor, or send me or just click my link tree in my bio to access my social medias, and just send me a direct message on one of those sites, one of those media outlets, and just let me know what you think about the whole battle between whether or not to have sports because of COVID-19. Yeah, so we talked about that. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. So now we're gonna get into the music section, and I've been wanting to talk about this album for a while because this is a really good album. Like, posthumous albums I don't really like, because when an artist passed, they don't really have too much say so about the album, obviously. And I've heard so many stories about artists going back and forth between different versions of songs and wanting to add this, wanting to add that. The ones who care, and I believe Pop Smoke, cared about his music, even though he talked about a lot of gangster like activities, or just like if you listen to Pop Smoke, you know what he's referring to. And he's on Republic Records, so he's on a huge record label, and he's just a huge pop star. When you're on the Republic Records, when you're on a label like Republic Records, you're not going on there for them to just barely just push you to the wayside, which could happen. But when you're a superstar like Pop Smoke, they're definitely gonna push you till the wheels fall off. And that's why I don't like posthumous albums, because whenever you pass and a company puts out your album, I don't want to say they reap all the benefits from it, from the album streaming and all that, because I don't really want to get into it too much, but I haven't seen one post from Republic saying that these proceeds go 100% to Pop Smoke's family. You haven't seen that at all. So I'm wondering, because I know when a rapper signs a contract, in case of death, the royalties and licensing goes to somebody else, most times a family member. So I don't know if it went to his mom, parents, dad. It's usually it could be one, it could be both, it could be somebody else. I don't know who it went to, but hopefully they start speaking up on how that works, on how they get paid when his music is released, because at the end of the day, it is a contract. Labels do have to make their money, but at the same time, the artist has to make their money too. It's not a one-way street, you know? So, anyways, enough of the politics and releasing music. Let's get into one of the first tracks that I like from this album. It's called, the whole album is called Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. And it's such a great album. The album cover is simple. It's like a rose, black canvas in the background. It's just pretty simple. Just remembering how Pop Smoke, just a nice little album cover. When it first came out with I don't know if y'all care about that, but if you know his name, Virgil Abloh or whatever, he's been famous for the two Virgils meme because of what he said about Black Lives Matter. But he made a cover for Pop Smoke, and it was pretty bad. It looked like a cover between Drake's "What a Time to Be Alive" and Post Malone's "Beer Bongs and Bentleys." But anyways, the album cover was just trash. But let's get into one of my favorite tracks from this album. I just thought this sample is my favorite sample of 2020. It's just so hilarious. But anyways, let's get into it.
So you got the job doing what?
I get paid to snitch now. It's really classified. I can't even really talk about this, man.
Oh my God.
I don't tell you because you my boy. But don't with me. You see what I did to Roger. You seen what I did to Roger. 40 years.
He had 40 years?
40 years. You didn't want to sign that plea? 40 years.
Dang.
Don't with me.
Buddha bless this beat.
Yeah, Huncho. Look at my status. No, I'm not bragging, I'm not average. My bitch on a paddock. I bought her a whip and I told her stop nagging.
So you can hear you heard the sample. Heard a little intro from Quavo, from Quavious. Yeah, he was on this album 3 times. I think, if I had to guess, I would think that him and Pop Smoke would really had a chemistry, because whenever you make a lot of songs with one artist, usually you have that chemistry to want to keep making songs, and let alone release the song. So I wouldn't be surprised if Quavo has some more Pop Smoke features in the tuck for his album or for the Migos album. But that song was really good because it was talking about, it was talking about snitching, and everybody knows Tekashi 6ix9ine snitched and everything. And it was just a great anthem for people anti that, just anti snitching. So it was a great attempt at a national anti-snitching like anthem. And so for that's why it was one of my favorites, because the little sample they use at the beginning is pretty funny. Like the 40 years part is hilarious, like the way he just said it. But Quavo and Pop Smoke has another song on this album called West Coast that I think Quavo had his best verse on this song, because he's on this album 3 times, but I think he had the best verse on this song. So let's listen to it. You can hear it right now.
Look, Pop Smoke, I'm on some West Coast. Hey, New York, I got a West Coast.
West Coast, Huncho on that West Coast. West Coast, left wrist, both wrists, that's some bricks.
If the ops is in the spot, red dot. Somebody call Batman, I'm robbing.
I got him, smoke, I pop him. Put the on Prada, now she poppin'. T-Rom.
Yeah, after that you gotta cut it off. But at the beginning, like, this song is really good. I don't like to hate on Tyga, but at the same time, like, I don't think he really fit on this song, because the Pop Smoke Quavo dynamic throughout this whole song, them going back and forth on the hook, I think it could have been just Quavo and Pop Smoke's song, and it would have had a bigger effect, I think. But I mean, they probably put Tyga on this for a reason, because I think the reason they put these certain people on the album is because Pop Smoke had a list of features a list of artists he wanted to collab with. So one of the best songs I think on this album, like, I think this is the best song on, I don't know, either between Got It On Me or Enjoy Yourself featuring Karol G. I think those are but this album is just so good. Yeah, I think those are the 2 songs that's best on this album, or maybe Gangsters, but it's between those 3. But definitely the most diverse song on this album is Enjoy Yourself, because if you listen to Pop Smoke's earlier projects, he always was rapping on similar beats. I wouldn't say the exact same beats, but the drill beats he would use would be like very, I don't know, it would be the same, repetitive. I don't know if repetitive is the right word, because he really keeps you engaged by how he talks about like the gangster life or whatever. But the way he switched it up on this album and just showed that he could expand more as an artist just makes you like even more wish he was still here. So let's get into Enjoy Yourself featuring Karol G. And I think this is the most diverse song on the album. So let me get into it. Okay, first I'm gonna get into it and then make sure I get the right section of the song, because I'm playing the clean version of the album, obviously, because I don't like too much cussing in my podcast, because I want this to be enjoyable for a broader audience, so they can get this information rather than it be a lot of cussing and just be a lot of cussing and a lot of people just turn their ears off because of the cussing. That's a real thing sometimes. That's why they say not to cuss at somebody when you talk to them, because they're just not here to mess. They're just focused on the cuss word. But anyways, I'm pulling the song up right now. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna mute this, and now y'all can listen to it with me. So this is the best track that I think this is the most diverse track on the album. So as you can hear, Enjoy Yourself is definitely different from all the other songs on his previous albums, and he's trying to step out of his lane, trying to step out of his comfort zone to grow as an artist. And that's just great to see. Like in a posthumous album, to still see development in an artist is just because he passed away. I mean, obviously, so it's nice to see that he was going in a direction to evolve and not just stay the same person talking about gangsters and killing. Because it's weird to hear a person who passed away the way he did talk about killing and all that. So it's just kind of weird. Pop Smoke's first week album sales though were revealed, and he sold 250,000 first week. And for those that don't know how good that is, that's like huge. Like for artists to sell over 100,000 is a huge W. So for Pop Smoke to sell over 250,000 just showed how much he connected to the New York people. And people was really calling him the next up to take over New York, because he was one of those that just really captivated an audience, obviously, because even in passing, he can bring in 250,000 streams. Well, not 250,000 streams, sell 250,000 copies basically because of his impact on the culture. So that was just nice to see how 50, because so backtracking a little bit, 50 Cent made this album and he curated it, executive produced it. Well, I don't know if I don't know if he officially got that title. But basically, he put the album together, which is why he's on one of the most streamed albums on streamed songs on the album, which is the song with Roddy Ricch, because anything with Roddy Ricch just goes up for some reason. It's called The Woo. It's like the 10th track on the album. 50 Cent put himself on it, probably knowing that it was going to blow up. It's a good, I mean, the whole album is just, the album is so good, it makes you think that Pop Smoke was still like, not still here, but like he had a final say on how it came out. And for an album to sound that good is just kind of scary. But they did say Pop Smoke always had heavy influence from 50 Cent, so 50 Cent probably knew where to take his sound and how to make his sound form an album that his fans, audience would digest in the way that they did. Because now they're gonna come out with a deluxe album sometime soon, I'm hoping. But there was a lot of beef with the deluxe album because of a rapper called Pusha T and another rapper called Young Thug being on the same song. And Pusha T was taking shots at Drake. Well, not shots, like literally shots, but verbal shots because of his verse. His verse talking about empty threats and everything, that because he was talking about, because it's a whole different story, but basically Pusha T and Drake don't like each other. So Pusha T was saying a lot of things towards Drake on this record, Pop Smoke record. Like let me remind you, this is still the Pop Smoke deluxe album, and Pusha T took it upon himself to diss Drake on this deluxe album. So he said, those empty threats only sound good on your records / if the, and he said so. He basically started going on a whole different type of flow, and I don't know if he was poking fun at the fact that Drake has many different flows, but basically he says his words have empty threats, not gonna do anything, you know, the basic rapper stuff. Young Thug, being on the same song, responded and said he didn't respect the verse, and said that he only did that because him and Gunna was on the song. I didn't even know Gunna was on the song, but him and Gunna. And he said Pusha T should have just did down his own song instead of just doing it on that. And of course, you know, Pusha T, being the guy that he is, came right back with a response saying that, oh, Young Thug was saying that his verse was taken, okay, somehow Pusha T's verse got taken off the deluxe song. Somehow, I say somehow. I know Drake took it off, and Pusha T said Drake took it off. because he responded and said he told the label what the verse was about, the same way he told what another previous verse he was trying to put out was about, and got it taken off. So basically he said Drake is like the police and he don't mess with police people, but he understands, something like that, something along the lines of Drake basically blocked him from putting that verse out on that song, which I don't know how he has the power to do that. That's beyond me. But he also responded to Pusha T directly, saying he would never need his respect for what himself, Pusha T, brings to the rap game. So Young Thug really like stood up for Drake at the end of the day. Pusha T said that Steven Victor should take his he demanded for him to take him off the deluxe album to avoid any confusion from the amazing body of work of Pop Smoke. And that's interesting because he put it on there in the first place, and now that, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, Drake disses a lot of artists on other people's songs. So with Pop Smoke being signed to Republic and Victor, Pusha T is signed to the same label. It all comes back to executive and label. When you get to a certain point, it all comes back to the label beef. Like Nicki Cardi, Atlantic don't like Nicki, so they made Cardi the poster child for anti-Nicki. I mean, it always comes back to the label. Victor doesn't like Drake, so he allowed Pusha T to say that verse. Pusha T to put that verse on Pop Smoke's album. Young Thug and Gunna have a good relationship with Drake and OVO Records, so they spoke out about it, made it a huge deal, so the fans will pressure Pusha T to take the verse off the song, even though Drake supposedly already took it off behind the scenes somehow, which I don't know how that part played out. But anyways, basically it's petty beef, and it did that on Pop Smoke's deluxe album, which is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I don't think that was the best album to put the verse on. I mean, he did try to put it on the Rick Ross track, and Drake still took it off. So I mean, it's like Pusha T probably like, I can't put no verse out dissing this dude, because Drake just gonna take it off. Which, I mean, if you have as much power as Drake, then you might do the same thing. So that's all I have for the Pusha T Drake beef. Hopefully they hash it out. They probably won't because of what Pusha T said, but I mean, if you don't want, I'm not gonna get into it, but if you want to see what Pusha T said to Drake, I mean, you can look it up. It's called Pusha T. Just look up Pusha T Drake diss song. I mean, it'll probably pop up, like it's everywhere. Only reason I'm not gonna talk about it because it's just old news to me, and the only reason to bring it back up because he's still talking about it. But anyways, I think that was all I had. Yeah, that was all I had on the music side. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about the Pop Smoke's? What do you think about Pop Smoke's new album? Was it fire? Well, not was it fire or trash, but because that's kind of harsh for it being a posthumous album. What's your favorite track off the album? And what do you think about Pusha T versus Drake? Do you think they should leave it alone, or you think they should keep trading verses, talking about each other, even though Pusha T can't put it out because Drake supposedly keeps blocking it? And I keep saying supposedly, but I believe Drake did that. I mean, Drake's really petty. If you really follow Drake's history, he's like very petty. But anyways, switching up the gears a little bit, getting off of music, I'm gonna switch it up, and we're gonna get into gaming. So now, this is the part of the pod where I get into one of the main reasons I started this YouTube channel, and that's gaming. So we're gonna get into one of the topics I've been wanting to talk about, but I haven't had the slots available to talk about it yet because it's not really pop culture, because it's kind of niche, like for a niche audience. It's not exactly gaming because it's a streaming platform, and a lot of stuff you can stream on a streaming platform besides gaming. Like you could do yoga, you could do like fitness, you could do basically a lot of other things besides gaming. But Mixer is known for gaming, well, was known for gaming, but The reason I said was is because Mixer, for those that don't know, Mixer collapsed, which is I already explained it. Anyways, Mixer collapsed due to overspending and toxic work conditions. People say so, allegedly. I keep saying allegedly a lot, but I think these reports are true. I mean, why would there be action behind it if these reports wasn't true? But then again, I guess people can make up false rumors off of some actions. But anyways, they say these were former Mixer employees, so that's why people are giving it so much credibility. June 25th, there was an announcement that came out that Microsoft's gaming streaming platform would go through. Oh, June 25th, they were struggling with some employees not being happy or something about that, and Mixer not treating their employees well, or just treating them with respect, which a lot of companies go through. Like, a lot of companies go through that. But I guess Mixer just came to a head, and I mean, it was once called Beam, and Microsoft took over because they had a lot of faith in it, and so they changed it, changed everything about it, and they changed the name Beam to Mixer in 2016. And then I think after that, they just started like trying to figure out how to beat Twitch. Like, that was the main thing after that, trying to figure out how to beat Twitch. And the thing they messed up, in my opinion, is that they really didn't have a big fan base like Twitch and YouTube, another streaming platform, has. Like, the base streaming fan base was not like, it wasn't the same. Basically, like, Mixer didn't have the foundation that YouTube and Twitch built before they blew up. And so that's why I think they had the biggest problem trying to compete with Twitch. And so one of the things they did to try to compete with Twitch and YouTube's top talent is that they just tried to like buy them out, like an NBA contract. Like, they try to approach them and just throw money their way for them to join the platform, which is why in 2019 Mixer reportedly paid Ninja, one of the biggest streamers ever, 20 to 30 million to come to their platform, which is a crazy deal in itself. And they gave a similar deal to his buddy Shroud. And even though you threw money their way, you still didn't have the foundation for the audience to cross over. So the audience didn't. Like, I think like 50% of the audience crossed over, if not even that. The communities reportedly never even stayed. Mixer never attracted the same audience that they saw on Twitch, that they saw Ninja and Shroud pull on Twitch. Ninja's followers was 3.2 million on Mixer, while his inactive Twitch profile had 15 million. So that should just tell you something. Like, the company was also plagued with the not treating the employees right. So along with overpaying Ninja and Shroud, which I don't have any, like, I don't want that to be a negative on Ninja and Shroud, they got the bag. But Mixer, on the other hand, it was negative for them because they didn't get the required benefits that they thought they was going to get for buying out Ninja and Shroud. So for Ninja and Shroud, I'm like, nah, that's a great move for gamers, because you just look at them, they setting the market for you. Basically, the higher, it's like the Patrick Mahomes deal, not to switch gears, but the higher the highest contract goes, the more it brings up the lowest contract, in my opinion. So if a top streamer went from 10 million to 30 million, well, just think about the lowest streamer may go from 300,000 to 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. That's just how I think, but it may not be how it works, but that's just how I believe. If the top gamer wins, we all win. But anyways, could just put respects on that genre. Mixer basically was having trouble and just had a whatever. Microsoft had to partner with Facebook Gaming because they was getting a lot of heat, I think, from black people. I say black, black employees, because I think they put out a business email, if I'm not mistaken, calling their like employees slaves. I think I was hearing from like a Mixer streamer. Like she was saying like there was an email she was looking at and they was calling her like her a slave. I was like, slave, like a slave like imagine being called a slave in 2020. Like, these gaming companies are really out here wilding. And I mean, it's not even mixed. It's really, I don't want to say it's Twitch, but Twitch has some tendencies to I don't know the right word, but basically they go towards a certain they try to get a certain demographic to exclude another demographic, if you get what I'm saying. Like, they have certain parties. I've heard this like directly from people. They have certain parties that only a certain demographic goes to, and it's more them than minorities. I'm just gonna say minorities. And they'll have a big party for minorities and for everybody, basically. It's like some 1960s type stuff. But anyways, getting off of that, so they went away. Getting into the Ninja Shroud part, which is the best part in my opinion, is the best news to come out, because like I just explained, for them getting this bag just makes it not easier, but makes it more acceptable for gamers to get paid. Because even though it didn't have the intended effect on Mixer, them getting that type of bag just makes it almost, not normalizes it, but pushes it towards the boundaries of making it normal and in society. So hopefully gamers start being like, we start getting in the bag and it start being like athletes. Like, this athlete signed to this streaming platform, this athlete signed to this streaming platform. But right now we just have Twitch and YouTube. Now that Mixer's gone, competition brings out the best in people, and for Mixer going away, that just makes the competition even fierce, or not fierce, but like even harder against other up and coming streaming platforms. Because to compete with Twitch and YouTube, and you see what happened to Mixer, I don't know how they're gonna do it. But anyways, Ninja Shroud are right now trying to figure out whether to stream on Twitch or YouTube. I think Ninja had a stream on YouTube or whatever, and at the end he said like, this is just a stream, not no contract, no anything, and for everybody who donated, he's gonna turn it off next time he streams. Which, I mean, come on now, who is he fooling with that? He's not turning off his donation. But for him saying it, I don't know, he's not turning off his donation, so it don't even matter why he said it. Next time he streams, I think it will come with the announcement on whether he's streaming exclusively if he's going back to Twitch, or if he's gonna start just exclusively streaming on YouTube. In my opinion, I think you should go to YouTube. I mean, you already tried out Mixer because they gave you the huge bag. Why not try out YouTube? Because I know YouTube has the bag. Like, I think Facebook Gaming, I want to say Facebook Gaming was offering more than Mixer, but Facebook Gaming has such a, like, the way I was talking about Mixer's foundation, Facebook doesn't even have a foundation when it comes to Facebook Gaming. So that makes sense to why Ninja didn't go there. So yeah, but getting into Shroud though, well, they both like got a 40 million. Well, they said a combined. It was reported it was a combined $40 million payout for having the Microsoft owned streaming platform buyouts in the contract. So they both can go wherever they like they feel like going, but Twitch and YouTube is the two options, just to be real, because the other streaming platforms, I mean, where are you gonna go? To Facebook Gaming? Like, come on now. Anyways, the exclusive contracts with Mixer did good at first in drawing attention to the platform, but it just didn't last. Like, it's just one of those things that everything that glitters isn't gold, and that was just the biggest. And Ninja and Shroud going to Mixer was just the biggest example of that, because Mixer did not grow at all. Like, people was trying to clown Ninja views, like, imagine that. But even though he was still pulling the crowd, he wasn't pulling nearly as much as he did with Twitch. So Ninja and Shroud going to Ninja and Shroud, I mean, I don't know where they're gonna go. They had a huge buyout. It's like the Carmelo deal, when he was done playing with his team, or not done with playing with his team, but his team didn't want him no more, so they just bought out his contract and he got all his money in full just to not be on a team. It was like the opposite with Ninja and Shroud. Mixer wanted them on the team, but they couldn't afford them no more, so they just they couldn't afford to keep the services up no more, so they just bought out their contract, and it was like here, I mean, we're going away. So the only thing that was bad about it is that the people on that platform that was like not lower, but like lesser known names, they probably had more of a hit, because like them just being told like, we're gonna funnel y'all to Facebook, and like most of them probably don't even want to go to Facebook and don't have the deals like Ninja and Shroud to just be like, let me just start a whole new channel on Twitch, which is what some of them are doing, and which is why some Twitch people are kind of upset because they're getting like partnerships right away, which Twitch people from the very beginning had to work for it. Anyways, that's just a little streamer beef that I just touched on, and nothing really too crazy. I mean, Ninja and Shroud, they're gonna get their bag. Already got their bag from Mixer. Now they can re-up again. However, next they go to, I don't know if they'll get as big of a bag. I probably don't think so. Twitch and YouTube don't really, I don't say they don't need them, but like, they're sitting pretty with this Mixer shutdown. They're definitely sitting pretty. So can't wait to see where they go. Ninja's one of the biggest streamers. Shroud, I don't really know too much about him. All I know is him and Ninja are pretty good friends. So yeah, I don't really know too much about them. But anyways, now we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Now we're gonna get into pop culture. Now, this is the segment of the pod where I get into whatever was popular throughout the week. And for the United States, I want to say specifically, because this is a huge like topic, but TikTok being looked at as supposedly being banned. They're looking to banning TikTok in the US. And not just TikTok, but a lot of other apps, including TikTok. And TikTok just made the main page because, you know, I mean, it's TikTok. Huge. What Vine could have been, but just didn't have the support, really. It's just because of the tensions between the United States and China. I'm not really going to get into that too much. They're just looking at banning TikTok because of how they're saying that the China apps kind of like spy on people when you use it, and it's just because of the, I mean, ByteDance, which is part of TikTok, thinking of banning that. Tencent thinking of banning their apps, and just because of like the security state of how it works. And I mean, it has a lot of other politics that go into it, because, you know, a lot of this stuff with America and China has been like, you know, borderline, not volatile, but borderline is getting to a point where a lot of stuff is gonna start being cut out from each other's countries. Like, so I mean, that's just the main thing about TikTok. Really, TikTok's not a huge story. I just wanted to touch on it because it's pop culture, and a lot of people seem to care about it. So I mean, the U.S. Army banned their soldiers for even using TikTok over the security worries, and that's just because, like, they say it's a security risk. They say it's a security threat once again, and so that's just weird to see. Whenever y'all use TikTok, do y'all like think TikTok is invading your privacy or looking at you through the camera? Let me know in the comment section down below. But the military was the first to do this, like the first to ban TikTok, basically, essentially, just because of security reasons. And they just said that like the Navy also made the decision in like mid-December, so that should tell you something, that they've been on top of it. They've been seeing what TikTok was doing. I mean, Chinese is really a tech giant, so US is suspicious because they don't want that to get to the point where Chinese government can see everything about, well, not everything, but like can get certain crucial data that they shouldn't be getting access to through a child's app, if you get what I'm saying. So US is looking to banning that. This is real more political than anything. Like as I'm reading through this article, it's bringing up a lot of situations that are very political. For me, I just want to cover it on the surface, and not just because I don't want to get deeper into politics. It's just because there's no need to. Like, basically, US doesn't like the app because of it being deemed a security threat, quote unquote, and China being behind the whole app, being as its multinational conglomerate. I mean, they already got fined by the US 5.7 million for illegally collecting personal information from children under the age of 13, including names, email addresses, and the locations. Now, the locations is the weird part. What do they need the locations for? But that's the weird part. So you could just see how like the tensions are rising between America and China, and just TikTok is just another example of how if you fall out with a country, then their inventions gotta, well, not inventions, but like their creations gotta go too. Like whatever's popular that's not really essential, it gotta go. Like TikTok's definitely not essential, but Americans do love TikTok. Best believe every artist, every major record label is trying to push their music through the most popular TikTok artists. I mean, just look at the best artists in the world right now. Just look at Drake. I mean, he put out Tootsie Slide, and that's a TikTok based song. Slide to the left, slide to the right, do the Tootsie Roll and the turn around. No, I'm just playing. I don't think those are the lyrics, but anyways, this is structured towards TikTok. So it's just like, how much can one country take before they just start banning all your stuff and you have no influence over what we do? So it's just a weird dynamic between America and China. And yeah, that's really all I have for TikTok and for the pop culture segment. I mean, let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think about TikTok spying on children allegedly, and they'll be under 13. Well, not under 13, but 13 as of that. Like, that's just creepy and weird. But what do you think about that? Do you think TikTok, the big question I want you to get out of this, or want to answer from you, is do you think that TikTok should be banned from the United States? And do you think that TikTok should even be as big as it is? Because obviously China's making big money off of the data they're collecting off of children. So it's just a very weird dynamic that's going on right now. But yeah, that's all I got for the pop culture TikTok. We got through. So just to sum the pod up, that's all I have on my notes. We got through the quote of the pod was safety. So remember that. Sports versus COVID-19. Remember that. Pop Smoke's new album. We touched on the Pusha T Drake beef. Aubrey versus Terrence. Mixer. We talked about that. Ninja and Shroud deals. And then we got through TikTok, pop culture. So let me know what you want me to talk about in the next podcast. For this podcast, I really wanted to touch on the not TikTok, the Mixer, because I've been wanting to talk about that for a while, because that's huge. I mean, that changes the landscape of streaming and how people make their money by people watching them games. So that's a huge blow. The streamers trying to blow up on a non-popular platform. And so yeah, I mean, that's tough for them, but let me know what you think, how they're gonna make it out. And do you think Mixer, and do you think Twitch will eventually just be leaps and bounds better than every other streaming platform? Because the only competition I see for them right now is YouTube. Let me know in the comment section down below. Send me a voice message on Anchor. Because that's about it for the episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Notorious Mass Effect podcast. And don't be afraid to send me a voice message on Anchor, letting me know what you think of the show and what you want me to talk about in the next episode. Click my link tree in my bio to access my social medias and follow to keep up with my latest activities. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on my YouTube and share this podcast, as this helps the show reach more people so we can grow together and affect the masses. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Notorious Mass Effect.